Hello, intrepid experimenters. Adhpa here. So I had an interesting go back and forth with a viewer online today, and the topic ended up. I, I thought it was sort of going one way. I thought it was going into karma, and I have done some videos on karma. You can go back and look at those. They're up on my channel. By the way, click like, subscribe, share this out, get comment, help get this discussion going. But what this conversation actually kind of ended up really being about was the difference between the Christian belief and their strictures as they interpret them, and what's permitted and what's a sin and all of that based on the Christian doctrine versus what I'm discussing, which is about evidence of what is real in the energy life field. And it turns out to be that there are energy beings, seen and unseen, that are actually what humans have interpreted as the beings that come out in the various doctrines, whether it's Christian or whatever it is. But the energy beings are actual, real, and you can see them and investigate them and work with them much in the same way that the doctrine tells us. But the doctrine is sort of a human attempt to interpret the energy without a clear scientific basis or evidence. So, and of course that creates a dispute, and it created a dispute in the conversation because when somebody who holds to one of those doctrines, which is essentially written by humans who are interpreting an experience, and then passing that around and writing it up, and so all doctrine is coming through an actual human being. So it's their interpretation of something. But when you try to discuss with those people like the basis of it, it becomes contentious. It can become contentious really, really quickly. People hold very strongly to these doctrines, and that's largely in my experience and from reading them, because the doctrines themselves are, they're sort of a way to never have to really understand the energies, right? So somebody can give you this little package that says, here it is, and this is what you have to do, and this is what you have to follow, and you're not allowed to do this, and you're not allowed to do that. And there'll be consequences after you die if you don't follow these rules, and these are what they are. And of course all of that is an interpretation of experience and dreams and visions and whatever it is these humans have had that have brought them to manifest these writings. They're not necessarily truth. We don't know. In some level we can't know, but we can know a lot about what's real around us, and then that includes the energy, and that includes the energies and how they function to bring us dreams and visions, and what life really is, and how it really applies to beings. So for me, earth, moon, sun, sky, water, lightning, these are beings. They exist. They actually live. They live. They don't live in the way that you and I live, or maybe even as we can understand living. But they are matter in motion. They are energy in motion, and that means they live at an essential scientific level and contribute to consciousness, and may have faculties for interpreting consciousness that we don't understand. And it seems that maybe they do, because this is sort of written into the way people have interpreted these dreams and visions and experiences that indicate these things have some sort of consciousness or contribute to consciousness. So I sort of use my standard when I have an argument like that, and I leave it with, when you can produce this being of all-knowing, the one true God, or whatever it is that you're claiming is in control, and show it to me, we can discuss whether or not it's fact. Meanwhile, I can produce for you all of the energy beings that we're discussing here at some level immediately, because they are all visible and evident to everyone: sun, moon, earth, sky, lightning, water, etc. And they make the energy, or they contribute to the energy. So I think what I'll do is I pulled two decks that I thought might be really useful for asking this question. But so I want to clarify using what I consider my most Christian deck that I currently have. And the same woman has created this animal spirit deck, which seems to be a good representation of the other. So we have these two competing concepts and philosophies. And so I'm going to do a reading on what the cards have to tell us about those things. How about that? And we'll let the cards help contribute to the argument that I'm having with one of the viewers. And I do appreciate the argument, and I appreciate the viewer. And you know, people can get really disrespectful in these situations, and you know, I'm not seeing that here, but if I did see that here, I would accept it, because people are what they are, and if they don't feel if they don't feel respect, they can't show it. You know, so I may respond myself in a way that may, I don't know, whatever I feel, you know, is also my truth, so I may respond that way. But I try to do it from a connected place. All right, hold on. I'll bring you down, and we'll see what the cards have to say about Christianity versus the Red Road. How about that? Okay, I'll do a little last shuffle here, and Christianity versus the Red Road, and the truth of the earth energy, and what humans need to understand as truth. How about that? That's an interesting question. And let's see what the cards have to say about that. Let's see. All right, let's see what we got. What do the cards think? What is the truth between energy in the life field, the Christian doctrine, the Red Road, works with that energy, which is all focused on working with that energy? We're not really getting one pop out, are we? Okay, let's try one more time and see if one jumps out. Oh, okay. So it did. All right, let's finish through the shuffle. All right. And then the clarifying animal spirit, put in their contribution and read. What do they have to say about Christianity versus the Red Road? What do they have to contribute to teach us what we need to understand as truth? Oh, okay. Let that be that way. All right, let's see what we got. So, oh, let's make sure the deck is the right side up. Yep. All right, so we're starting off there with the Hanged Man in reverse as the signifier. This is, so this is about reversing the things that have kept us from moving forward, that have kept us from suspension, This is about coming out of suspension. But in that suspension was a transformative way of looking at things in a new way. And so, in a sense, this is about looking, which way are we going to look at it? Are we going to look at it in the old way? Are we going to look at it in the new way? That is what this question is about. Which is the old? Which is the new? Is this just a change in perspective, looking at the same thing? And that's what this card is representative of, which is extraordinary, isn't it? And that's clarified by brown bear spirit, take time out. Oh, again, so we have a suspension and we have a suspension. We have that hibernating that the bear represents. So this is about the question of which way do we look at this, as clarified by take time out, hibernate. This is not a question that we can answer easily, quickly. This requires deep reflection and looking at it from many perspectives to understand the truth of this question. For us as humans, as the signifiers, to understand truth, we need reflections. So sort of what that says. And the challenge card is, oh, how about that? The High Priestess. So we want to know the hidden things. We want to know what the High Priestess knows. In the journey through the tarot, the High Priestess is the second card. The Fool starts his journey, the Magician opens the door, and then the Fool is met by the High Priestess. She is going to be opening the curtain to his path. She is going to, through wisdom, show the things to the Fool for his quest or journey, right? Like the person where he can ask which way to go. But if he doesn't ask the right questions, he's not going to get the answer. She's not going to offer anything. She is like that oracle. As clarified by Nightingale Spirit, love is all around. Oh, okay. So hidden things, but all is in love. That's interesting. We all know, whether we talk from Christianity or the Red Road or any way, everyone talks about love. And the teachings are about us, and they teach us how to love. Love thy neighbor. Love thy Lord God as thyself. Whatever it is. But it's really about loving life, loving the reality that we're blessed to come into, right? This journey. So this is saying that our challenge is uncovering the truth really about love and the secrets of love. What we have control over, the 10 of water. This is fulfillment, the fulfillment of energy, of spirit. This is the Buddha sits in contentment, the happy families. Everything is as it should be. And we have control over aspects of our own energy, of our energy being of fulfilling our own energy. And this is clarified by Hummingbird Spirit, who comes in to say, be here now. The hummingbird flits, moves, comes for the season, disappears. I have feeders up. I watch them all the time, and sometimes I see the feeders going down, but I never see them. Right? They are ubiquitous in a sense. They can be everywhere. And then they can be here and be gone. And the moment is so fleeting that if you're not connected, if you're not there, if you're not present, you'll never see them. And you could think they don't exist. So this is what we're talking about. We have control over having a complete spiritual awareness of all of these energies, but we have to be present in the earth reality. It can be flitting off in delusional ideas of things that aren't real out there, and think you're going to apply it to what is real out there and be successful. In the past, the Queen of Fire, this is that Queen of Wands. She can be derided. This is the internal passions, the director of internal passions, directing our internal passions. And, things of the heart. And if we are poor directors of those things, we end up in all kinds of addictions and trouble. And you need look no further than the current political scene to see way too many examples of people who didn't control their inner desires, right? So in the past, though, this is saying we directed the internal passions that brought us to this place. We're the directors. Swan Spirit. Time for a deep dive to clarify that queen. Yeah, I think humans have maybe not understood historically how their internal disciplines, controlling of the heart, directing of the heart within, these things that drive them, these passions, have brought them to wherever they are in their life. It's true for each of us in our journey. And it's true in the story of what is truth. What is truth about energy is that in the past, we have been driving on our hearts, what we feel, our emotions. Time for a deep dive. We dove deeply into our heart emotions for many recent decades, but the heart is not all that drives us. Passion that drives without the benefit of the mind and the spirit and our physical body can take us down bad avenues. So, but we have done this deep dive, and this is what we have looked for to solve in the question of what is God is mostly heart related. That's what we have looked at. What we cannot control, 9 of water. This is 9 of cups. In traditional decks, is that merchant who's got everything. And here we have this beautiful mermaid, and she has everything around her, and she is contemplating it. 9s in some ways are a completion. It's like when you're working with energy and higher energies or even God, 9 would be like when you've got all your stuff together and all you need is the help of grace now. All you need is a little something from Creator to bring it to the 10. And that's why we see the Buddha. Usually it comes through a teacher like Jesus, right? Your intercessor. But we cannot control that we have to do most of the work. We have to get ourselves and our personal energy or spirit, whatever you want to call it, morality. We have to get those all lined up and know what they are and know how to use them and know when they're appropriate and use them as such. And that's clarified by Porcupine Spirit. Time for beginner mind. That's interesting because energy is spiritual, right? And if you're working to get your energy cups, you can't go at it with a mind fixated in the duality of whatever concepts you've had. You have to have an open mind. And that will never change. So to the extent that you follow doctrine that closes your mind, it's going to create issues because it's always going to be the case that achieving our energy satisfaction and that level of functionality, being able to dispense it, help other people with it. The merchant is helping people. Yes, he brings it in, he sells it out, he knows what you need, he knows what cut of your jib it needs to be. That's a very helpful person, right? And way of being with energy. But to do that, you cannot be held to old doctrines. You have to be able to look at things with the mind of a beginner and see what's reasonable, what's rational, what's good, what's not good. What this is all manifesting for us is 4 of water. So 4s are about a coming together, a commitment. You have commitment and agreement. And so this has come together to a commitment of 4 cups. So there have been a gathering of energies, and now comes in the last cup. Will you take it? Are you committed? We are being offered this ability to integrate with the earth life field energies, like to come into that energy. We've come with our 3, we're sort of coming together, all of us, but now we need to connect in. And so the earth field itself is making an offer. It's an offer of a new energy, and that's kind of what we're manifesting, is a new energy. And so the difference between, in terms of this reading, Christianity and the Red Road is about manifesting a spiritual commitment, like for the world, right? Like that's what you want, that's what we want. You want everyone to be Jesus loving and Christian, fine. I want everyone to be earth loving and earth being loving and living. But really we want the same thing. We want us to connect to that spiritual thing, whatever it is. And that is clarified by Otter Spirit. You are never alone. I love that, because that's, humans talk about being alone all the time, but if you're sitting alive on the earth, in the air around you are oxygen molecules and other things are in the air that live. You're never alone. Even if you're in the darkest cell of isolation, you're not alone. And that's truth and reality that can be proven by science. But it's more than that, because these energies and entities of the planet, some of them which are microscopic, some of them quite visible, but they contribute to consciousness. They have consciousness. So there is always connection to consciousness beyond yourself in the life earth field. You're never alone. And in a way, what people are both, that's what all of this religion and the differences are still, that's what we want to manifest. An understanding that in the realm of Creator or God or Jesus or the earth field, you're never alone. How we see ourselves in relation to this is the 4 of air. That is like your 4 of swords. That's a truce. That is your angel who has been watching you trip on the rake, step on the rake, but won't let her intervene either. I'm tired, I'm done. This human, right? So it's like that. We see ourselves as fallen angels, that's the literal Christian interpretation of this card. And at some level, I think Christianity does that. It's about truce. It's about giving up the mind commitments that kept you from having beginner's mind. We're in that place of having to figure this out. We need things to stop. We want a truce. We've got to figure these things out. And that's clarified by be spirit, sweet results await. I think we understand. We understand that if we, okay, from a purely Christian thing, this is you must die to achieve heaven. This is what they think and believe. You must die to achieve heaven. 4 of air, 4 swords, and sweet results. But in actuality, the 4 is never the death. The 4 is the commitment. So the truce card is when the guy who's been fighting everyone else, and they've all come together and made their point so well, he lays down his arms and says, oh, okay, I give. That's what the 4 is. And that's where we are. And sweet results await. Because when we can be in beginner's mind, we can achieve these understandings of energy in the spirit that we really want. The environment in which we sit is the ace of air, the ace of swords. This reading is just saying this is the truth. The truth is all around us. We sit in an environment of truth. As clarified by Turkey spirit, give with gratitude and grace. In the Red Roadway, Turkey is the Wopila bird, and it is all about gratitude. So what this is saying is that we have to surrender, and if we do with gratitude, consider the environment around us, we will see there is truth there. The truth reveals itself to the heart, as it were. All right, hopes and fears is judgment, the call. Yeah, I think that's pretty clear. In Christianity, they think if you don't act well on earth, you'll face the judgment call, you know. On the red road, you know, the fear and the hope and the fear is in, are we prepared for that call? Are we misunderstanding what we have learned in ceremony? We are always assessing and looking at what comes to us and testing it against reality, because it's required to stay in beginner's mind. And that is clarified by rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. So I think for the Christians, they think this is the rapture and the second coming. And I think for native peoples, we know this is a wake-up call, or we're looking for a wake-up call, because in that, this seems to be what's occurring. So I think, again, the cards are saying that in both views, we are seeing things much the same way, right? But if you want to distinguish it, you could say maybe the Christians are afraid of judgment, whereas those of us who are connected know this is a beautiful time for Earth. We're very happy and joyful about it because it's going to be so good for Earth. So that's another way to read it. Final outcome, 6 of Earth. This is the karma card. This is getting as you have deserved from the earth. Like the earth field bringing back to you the help that you need or the lesson that you need. It's one or the other. And that is what the outcome is, as clarified by Armadillo Spirit. Set healthy boundaries. Yeah, because when you cross other people's boundaries, the reckoning will come. You will receive back from the life field a resonance, a karmic resonance. And again, I think both of these teachings, Christian, Red Road, teach you the same thing, that there will be a karmic reckoning for you. The Christians think you have to die and then you'll go to heaven or hell. The Red Road people, we see that as something that's ongoing in life to help us grow. We get these karmic lessons to help us grow and to teach us to set healthy boundaries. So, you know, when you don't accept or approve someone else's opinion, you're certainly welcome to do that. But setting a healthy boundary is where you don't attack them for it, because they have every right to have their opinion as well, by virtue of being here, by nature of being a child of God, if you will. And so if you don't set healthy boundaries, eventually someone's going to see that you don't have those boundaries. Therefore, they don't have to use them with you. And they're going to come back and roll over you, right? Because you don't care enough about other people. Why should they care about you? And that's what happens in reality. That's the natural consequence of our behavior among humans. But it also happens on a spiritual level. So, bottom of the deck, 10 of fire, 10 of fire of wands. This is a heavy burden. This conflict between these ideas, which are actually so similar, has created a heavy burden for humanity. And that's clarified by the pig spirit. Use your mind wisely. So yeah, it carries a heavy burden for those who are pig-headed. That's pretty much what the card said. Okay, hold on and I'll bring you up. We'll close it out. Okay. Well, I don't quite know what to say. It's so tempting when somebody makes comments that they're obviously trying to stir something up, make you angry, make you defend a position, something. And it's tempting to get snarky about it. It really is, because humor's very diffusing. I like to use humor in difficult situations a lot, because it can help people shift that perspective that this reading talked about in the beginning. I think it was a really good reading. I hope that the poster who brought up the question understands that this is presented in a means of furthering communication. As I said, they didn't say anything nasty to me. They weren't mean to me or anything like that. We had a very interesting little back and forth. But it is contentious for people. And I think those last two cards kind of point to what happens from that. People get really stuck in their positions. But the cards are clearly saying that all of life is about being able to unstick ourselves from our positions and consider things from different viewpoints. So I hope you've appreciated this little investigative sojourn. If you have, click like, subscribe. Come on back next week. I'm putting up little shorts during the week. Check those out too. I also post a daily card and a weekly card reading in the post section. Those come from the 11/11 readings. Oh, I do want to say, I have ordered my first 11/11 deck that I've designed. And if it looks good, if it's a good draft, I'll move forward with that project and give you a little sneak peek. All right. Have a great week. Love you guys. See ya.